What is going on, everybody? Today I want to teach you a little bit about long-term care. Long-term care is pretty awesome. It pays well, especially if you're doing the senior market. You know, you're handling their Medicare. One thing that Medicare doesn't cover is long-term care. So Medicare does acute care, something that can be rehabilitated and, get them off and running again. But if it's chronic, it's no longer going to be covered. So for example, somebody busts their knee and, they need a skilled nursing facility, then great, Medicare is going to cover it for the first, let's say, 90 days, okay? After that, if the doctor says, listen, there's nothing we can do about the knee any longer, it's chronic, sorry, Medicare is not going to cover you. That's where, long-term care comes in. Long-term care will be activated if you sell a policy if they can't do one of the 2 ADLs, activities of daily living, and you can look those up on the internet. Just put ADL and you'll see the 6 ADLs. But anyways, I just wanted to show you guys how to quote it and what some of the options mean. Okay, so first things first, we need to go to Mutual of Omaha. You need to download their quoting tool. So go to products, go to sales tools, go all the way down till you hit resources, and then download their mutual care solution software. Okay, once you download their mutual care solution software, and this is what it looks like. Okay, pretty neat little software, pretty easy to use. Right now we're just going to be talking about their secure product. The custom product is a little bit more fancy, but we're just going to do the secure product. Okay, so usually you're doing a single person, or you're doing both insureds. Okay, you're going to put in their birth dates, or you're going to do their ages, and then most of the time you're going to just select their select class, but very important handy tool is the guideline, this underwriting guideline. You're going to download that underwriting guideline because everything is going to be in here. Every little thing you need to know about is going to be in here. So what I do when I talk to my clients about long-term care, I'm doing the interview like it was a life insurance questionnaire, because that's exactly what it is, right? So you're going to ask them height, weight, all their medications, what they're taking them for, and everything they've been diagnosed with, right? If they know the name of their diagnosis, because you can easily come into this this underwriting guideline and put rheumatoid arthritis and see if it's like a declinable condition, right? Anything, fibromyalgia, all this stuff, anything you're gonna need to know, you're gonna plug it into here. If the client tells you, listen, I got this disease, make sure you get the correct spelling, just control find it and see what's it all about. For example, I just had a client that had depression, right? So I go depression. They give me criterias for preferred rating. Here on depression, here's where it is. It says 2 or more psychiatric hospitalizations for any reason, decline. Mild to stable on medications for 6 months, S star, whatever that means, right? We go up here all the way to the top. We see here that may still qualify for preferred if all requirements listed under the preferred rate criteria are met, right? So use this underwriting guideline, get familiar with Mutual of Omaha, fall in love with them. They pay very well, and the system is easy to use, right? So, okay, birth dates, figure out their class. Obviously you're gonna get their height and weight and all that other mess, okay? Figure out their benefit. I think the national average for long-term care is about $3,800 a month. In Illinois, I know it's hovering more around the 5,000 mark. Okay. Some clients, as they get older, they want to retire to somewhere south. Somewhere south tends to be, southern states tend to be a little bit less expensive with the long-term care. So maybe they want to go 3,800 because they know they're going to be moving to Texas or Georgia or something like that. Okay, but there is a form in the portal here where it can tell you how much long-term care costs. Hold on one second. Give me a second. Let me find it for you. Here. I know I asked that question. I just forgot where it was. It's the cost of care booklet. So let's figure out where that is. I'm gonna go here. Forms and materials. Okay, sales materials, forms and materials. We're gonna go company, Mutual of Omaha. It's gonna be marketing. We're gonna go pick your state, right? Let's do Illinois because I'm in Illinois. We're gonna go long-term care, and then we're doing mutual care, secure, broker. Okay, search, and then just control find cost of care in your state, right? Okay, here we go. Bam. So nursing home cost of care about $75,000 per year. So if we do $75,000 per year, where'd my calculator go? And 75,606 divided by 12 months, that's about 6,300. Okay, maybe if we take the average of all these three, right? So 67,084 plus 53,083 plus 75,606 divided by 3 divided by 12, about $5,400 a month, right? So you can do the same. You can search your state, figure out what the average cost of care is, and kind of help your client figure out what they're looking for, right? Okay, so back to mutual care. The average long-term care stay is about 3 years. You can pick less, you can pick more, you can pick longer, but 3 years I think is the national average for a long-term care stay. Either they probably pass away before the 3 years are up, okay, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right. Policy limit. This is going to go up depending on how much benefit they need. Okay. The elimination period. Think about this as your deductible. You're going to pay the first 3 months of long-term care before the long-term care policy kicks in. Okay. If you want to pay, the first 6 months or the first year, obviously it's going to be less expensive, right? So if your client has some assets or some income that he will still have for the first three months of his eligibility for long-term care, then you can pick 90 days. But think about this as your deductible, as their deductible. Okay. Now, obviously, inflation. We don't have to have inflation protection, but it's always a good idea. Obviously, they're 65 now. They may not need long-term care for another 20 years. So you always want to. You're always going to want to do some sort of inflation protection, because I think right now, okay, let's say the average cost of long-term care is $250,000 for a 3-year period. In 20 years, it might be $750,000. So you definitely want to do some inflation protection. So 3% for the next 20 years is decent, not that bad. Okay, so assisted living. I don't think you want to mess with these. You just want to leave these at 100%. Okay. Assisted living facilities. This is like the nursing homes and things like that. Okay. Some people might not be attracted to long-term care because they're just thinking that it means me going into a nursing home, right? And that's not really the case. 80% of people who do long-term care it's in the home. It's outside of a nursing care. So you can definitely have home health care benefits at home with a nurse coming in to take care of you. Okay, so most of the time, again, it's home health care. It's not really nursing homes or assisted livings, but you can use 100% of that benefit in either one. Okay, again, if you want to learn more about home health care or the assisted living, then look at the brochure, Control Find Home Health Care, and read everything there is about home health care. Okay, built-in cash benefit. Let's say the client wants their daughter to take care of them and not some nurse, some stranger come in their house, right? Well, they can decide to get 30% cash benefit paid directly to them so that they can pay the daughter, or it can get paid directly to the daughter. So that's what it means by built-in cash benefit. Instead of going to a nursing home or having a nurse come in, you want to pay yourself or you want to pay a family member, then they'll give you 30% of the cash benefit. Okay, 30% of 5,000 is $1,500 bucks. So the daughter would get $1,500 bucks a month for taking care of them. Okay. I don't know much about security. You can look it up again in the brochure. But shared care, I know that, let's say you got a husband and wife that are getting the long-term care. Okay, let's say the husband is eligible for long-term care and he's getting his long-term care. What if he stays alive for over 3 years? Well, if you do the shared care, then that means that the husband can dip into the wife's long-term care. He can take monthly payments from the long-term care. The only rule is that he has to leave at least a year worth of long-term care in that bucket for her. If it's 3 and 3, he can use 3 and 2 of hers, and she's eligible for 1, and that's it. So that's what the shared care means. Okay, some people may want that, some people may not. Obviously, adding all these extra options increases the monthly benefit. Okay, non-forfeiture option. This means that if the client lapses on their payment, then Mutual of Omaha is not going to completely just terminate the policy. They will reduce the level of benefit. So instead of it being a full $5,000, they're gonna internally calculate what their monthly benefit will be after everything was set up, after they lapsed on their payment. So if they went, 10 years with this long-term care, something happened, and they lapsed on their payment, then they'll still have it at just a reduced rate. Okay. Now I know Mutual of Omaha, I just confirmed that they have a 65-day grace period, or let's call it reinstatement period. If their payment was due, they didn't make their payment, they have 65 days from that point to make the payment before it actually terminates. Okay. It's probably a good idea to always add the non-forfeiture option on there. It does obviously increase the payment significantly, but it might be worth it unless they're pretty savvy unless they got it on automatic payment on a from an account that's never going to go negative. That's perfectly okay. Or maybe they have a fixed annuity that's gaining some interest and they're using some of that interest to pay some of their long-term care. Then they don't need this non-forfeiture option. But that's what it means. Okay. Return of premium. Let's say the client passes away before he gets to use the long-term care. What they'll do is they'll give them a maximum of 3 times their monthly benefit. So no more than 3 times their monthly benefit. Okay. Obviously, if we add that, it's going to increase the premium. Sometimes it says here you can't do certain things if you have one thing checked off, right? So you just gotta mess with it. The system's pretty cool. It'll tell you what you can and you can't do. Okay. You probably again want to add one of these 2 options. Maybe this option for sure, because you don't want the insurance company, ringing the bell, ding, ding, ding. We have another one. They lapsed on their payment. We get to keep all that money. So it might be a good idea to do the non-forfeiture option. But again, it increases their premium significantly. It's whatever they can afford. Okay. Also, they give, when you're filling out the application, there's an option that says, do you want us to email somebody else if it goes 30 days past due, right? So maybe they can email their daughter or somebody that will have access to them and remind them, here, you got to make the payment, whatever, or have access to the account and make the payments on their behalf. Okay, so the mode. Obviously, we can do annually, semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly. I don't think there's any benefit. Let me do the math. The premium's going to be the same regardless if you do an annual payment or a monthly payment. So let's see, 3630, 46 divided by 12. That's 302.58. Let's see what happens here. 302.58. Okay, so there might be some discount if you go annually versus monthly. Let's double check this. So the monthly payment is $326.74, and we go annually. 3630, 46 divided by 12. Yeah, so there is a little bit of a discount if you pay all up front, all at once. Okay, so think about that. Now, these discounts, some people are in associations, you know, like AARP or doctors associations, or there's a million different associations out there. If they are, then you'll have to get the name of that association, call into Mutual of Omaha, talk to, I forget what department it is. Hold on one second, I'll tell you what the department is. One second. Stick with me. I know I got it here somewhere. Okay, so they call into association marketing. So you call into Mutual of Omaha and they transfer you over to association marketing. Association marketing will have their internal list of what associations they give discounts for. So if they're part of an association that is on the list, then they get a discount. You get a discount, I think, if you're a producer or an employer. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that's a big group policy. Yeah, this is what it means. If you're doing groups and you're doing a group long-term care, then every employee is going to get their employer discount. Okay. So that's it, guys. Long-term care is huge. Oh, another thing, if you do the association, I think the commission's a little bit, the percentage is a little bit less. So, but still, give the client a discount, especially if they're part of an association. Okay. Anyways, long-term care is a big business. If you're dealing in the senior market, or if you're dealing with anybody, the earlier you get long-term care, the more affordable it's going to be. Okay. It's tough when your parents are maybe getting older and they don't have assets, and they need long-term care. It puts a big burden on the families. It puts a big burden on the people that are taking care of the older generation that never prepared themselves for something like this, right? So I would say don't do it to your kids. Get yourself a long-term care policy when it's possible, when it's affordable. It's cheap enough now, and offer it to all your clients. Again, especially those who are working in the senior market, that are turning 65 or about 50 years old, or anybody. Get them some long-term care insurance and keep them covered. Protect their assets. Save their family from headaches, and everybody's happy with the plan, and it pays you well. So I hope this helps, guys. Make it happen, man. Get some long-term care policies. All right, talk to you guys later.